Okay, well, hello everybody. I will take later some minutes. Thank you for the presentation as well, Steve. And let me start about this topic about safe versus reality. Please let me know when you have questions or comments as well. I want to start first with a story about the Agile Revolution, right? This Agile Revolution is coming a couple of years ago, and it's everywhere now in every technology company and whatever. Let's talk about the story that we talk about. One guy named Alex, that is the president of a company, and there is this guy, Matty, that is the leader of the software system development. They are gathered together in a room full of people with all the team, explaining about how they are implementing Agile, how they have Scrum meetings, how they have the sprints and PI, program increments, whatever. Then the room keeps in silence, and Alex, the leader of the company, says, the next one that tell me that or explain me something about Agile, I want to be mad and I will probably fire you. I'm asking the question, when you will deliver? And don't explain me about safe. So, of course, the room of people keep quiet, silence, and the team that is working on safe and Agile, everybody is seeing each other and just decreasing the morale in the room because they don't know what to answer. Here, I have a very quick question for the audience because it is a real story. Did you know that this happened regularly?
I believe it.
So I don't think anyone on the call is surprised.
Yeah. So who do you think that has the right? The team that is facing troubles, or the manager that is asking just for a date?
They both have a problem.
Yes, they both had a problem. And one point here also to show to everyone is then what is the problem? It is really the implementation of Agile, and Agile is the savior that they were expecting to, or what is the issue there? And I move a little bit forward about, and I will going to mention the presentation from Matthew, that is the software system leader. It's about how they implemented the Scrum, how they implemented the Agile methodologies. But the leader asked the question, where will the system be ready and we can deliver to the customer? And what is the content that we need to deliver? So it's clear that the problem is not the question that he's asking, right? It's the answer. The team has the answer that they are expecting for. And this is exactly when we start in this point, right? What happens when safe meets reality? Okay, let's go. First of all, what is safe? Because we need to understand first what is safe in order to say what happens when safe meets reality. Well, safe for lean enterprises, that is a copyright for Scale Agile Inc., is a knowledge-based proven of tools, methods, process, practices that helps a business or a company achieve using Lean Agile and DevOps. That's what a Scale Agile defines itself. So clearly from their own definition, we can say that SAFe, it's a framework, methodology, and a tool to support. As you can see, even in their own definition, they are never saying that they increase the speed of your development or they will resolve all your technical problems. They are just giving a way to make more structured your transition to Agile. So what is not safe then? A development strategy, like I was mentioning. A development strategy is not something that is only going to be worked with tools. In order to have a development strategy, you need to answer some of these questions, right? What are the things that I need to be created? In which order I need to create those things? Do I need something else from someone or from another discipline in order to implement this? How will I allocate my work into my resources? how I will integrate all my features in the software. I need to validate it's true, the validation that I'm running against what the customer asking me. This fits in my portfolio of my company or my process. And why, if I selected an approach to develop, is this the approach that I selected? Clearly, and this is one of the points here, SAFe will not answer these questions because SAFe was not created to answer those questions. And then why, if SAFe is not answering these questions, everybody is fascinated or they are excited on using Agile in their companies and SAFe precisely? Well, you just need to take a look in the SAFe useful or successful stories in their webpage, where they give you a lot of examples about multiple companies worldwide that are implementing SAFe and how a lot of improvements. Some of them is around 20% of increase in the productivity, almost up to 75% of improvements in quality, 75% of faster time to market, around 50% of increased employee engagement and job satisfaction. So basically and quickly, you can see here, right? Every manager in a company that we work will say, yes, give it to me. I don't understand the roots probably, or I need to work in the roots, but give it to me. It's proven a lot of time and successful stories. And there is one question here in the chat that I'm seeing: how they measure productivity. That is one of the important pieces, right? They are just giving you the tools to measure that, but how you measure if you don't know the data where you are stand up from the beginning? That's some of the things of the lessons that we need to learn about to understand how SAFe can make it work. It's not like, oh, let's implement SAFe, done. We will win more $1 billion now. I don't know if you have a question or a comment on that. Okay, then I will continue. So then, what is SAFe focused on then? SAFe is based like in 7 points, basically, that they mentioned, right? I will not go directly into each point. For those, you can go directly into SAFe web page if you're more interested, or even you can try one of the trainings that SAFe Scale Agile offered for everyone. But basically, the 7 principles that they are focusing to implement SAFe is deliver an enterprise solution, lean portfolio management, organizational agility, agile product delivery, team and technical agility, lean agile leadership, and continuous leadership culture. So if you can see these 7 points, no one of these is talking about how you do the design, how you do the testing, how you do the planning, which tools you need to use it, how you coordinate your resources. It helps you a little bit in some of these topics, but it's not giving you the solutions to everything. SAFe is giving you a guide and a framework, like I mentioned, because this is what SAFe is, a framework to help you work and implement your Agile system within your colleagues, on your teams, not solving the roots of all the problems that you could have. And also, somewhat one important thing about essential SAFe. SAFe is also adding some methodologies that everyone start using it, because also it's in the manual of SAFe when you make their trainings, that it's about Scrum meetings, implementation of plan, do, check, plan, do, adjustment, and redo, the train or continuous delivery training, system demos, all of these that are the root causes or the things from SAFe. But still, those are the framework that are based on something from engineering basics, right? It's not like magically you just can take the framework, give it to your team, design match a training of 4 or 5 hours, and okay, let's do it. We will go faster now. Instead of delivering this Friday the content, give it on Tuesday.
What would you like me to do?
Okay. So, very easy then. What SAFe doesn't provide to you? SAFe will not provide your basic engineering concepts. SAFe will not tell you about how you plan, how you design, how do you review, how do you verification or testing. Also, SAFe is not giving you problem solution methodologies. SAFe is giving that you need to test, develop, review, deploy again, and repeat this cycle in order to make everything much faster and more predictable. But they don't explain each one of the steps. What do you need to do? So problem solution management, it's not here. You don't have find something like 5 whys, Ishikawa diagrams, or whatever. Also, SAFe is not telling you how you handle the quality management. Cyclomatic complexity, root cause analysis, heat maps, book rates, checklists, yield failure rate. And the most important 2 things that we need to understand when we establish SAFe. SAFe don't help you to driving of the project if you don't have leadership. SAFe is not teaching you leadership. It's not like you can just take SAFe and say, okay, my project will run slowly together and I don't need to do anything. You need to make a leadership of your own project. And the root message here that we need to understand is SAFe is a tool. And the important piece for this is we need to use the tool. If you don't know how to use the tool, then you don't expect that SAFe is going to save you, right? We own the tool. The tool doesn't own us. And let me put a very quick example here, right? If you are working something in wireless, and there is one guy that has the best equipment in the world that is decoding the signals in the air and giving it to you, and doing any minute with the best baud rate, filter noise, whatever. He's receiving something and working with a transmitter, and he sees nothing in the screen. He will report an issue. But maybe you have an engineer just on the side, and he's with a simple antenna, spectrum analyzer, very quickly check, and he says, okay, I found the issue. It's that the central frequency is not where you are looking for. So it doesn't matter if you have the biggest tool or the finest tool. If you don't know how to use it, or if you don't use it properly, you are still in the same place. So let me talk another quick story. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. Imagine in Car Show Expo in Las Vegas, 2018, Ford is presenting his brand new line of cars, and he's presenting the new Navigator, the biggest truck of Ford. Then the CEO is talking to the press event, showing everything. And then the CEO comes and say, okay, this is a demonstration, let me open the truck and then you see the interior. He touched the door handle and the car doesn't open. He reacts faster and say, oh yeah, this is not a problem. We are showing a demo that our car is secure, it's safe. Let me try to open it again. Now it's open because somebody in the audience has the key, making open from the distance. So they manage well, they present very well, but what if I tell you that this was really a software issue and it was something unexpected? Of course, we know the result, right? This is a real case that happens to me when I'm working in my company. Minutes after, Ford make a call, Continental, we have a problem. Please, everyone gather in a room. So we have a bunch of experts, people, okay, here is an issue. Let's find the root cause. Do a lot of testing, a lot of process, a lot of investigations, people from everyone around the globe in our companies investigating. We cannot find anything. Then imagine that if the guy from Ford, the CEO, came to a room full of engineers of worldwide and country and tell us, hey, what's going on? And we just tell them, I don't know, because we are running on our agile process, you need to wait for the next sprint. What will you think that will be the reaction from this guy?
It won't be a good reaction.
Yes, exactly. Some people mentioned in the chat, project lost. Yeah, probably. And then this came back a little bit to the first story, right? And we need to understand also the other side, because if you just came and blame the implementation of SAFe or saying that you will solve it on SAFe, then probably the other side will not take very good. Just another quick point on this, right? I remember talking to one of my managers. What we will do if we cannot find something? We're just talking and say, I don't know, we need to go back to the roots, to the basics, and let's do it. Let's try to find now. And here's a question to start another discussion. Obviously, in that project, we were not using SAFe yet. We were not Agile. If we use Agile later, we can make this better, or we can reach to the root cause. What do you think? It will help to make this investigation easier or faster?
I think not necessarily.
That's correct. Not necessarily, because still we don't know the root cause, right? We don't know what the issue is. So probably it helps, yes, probably not. And so that the point keeps in the same, right? It is SAFe then a savior? It's a substitution to the root of engineering causes? Keep that question in mind as we continue. So, one biggest point here, then why will you SAFe? If we say that SAFe is not the savior, is not the solving. Well, it is a tool. We manage the tool in our advantage in order to make the things better. And something important that we need to know is that we don't use SAFe just because it's a standard. We need to use it because we understand and we follow their principles in order to make something better. So what really helps SAFe in your daily life project or in your daily life running? Well, you need to keep better tracking of your plans. And first of all, don't compromise on realistic milestones versus content. That is not a SAFe problem. SAFe gives you a tools and give you all the framework to determine that you are compromising things that are not okay. Also, SAFe helps you and gives you a lot of tools, hints, tips, and tricks on how you report issues as simple as they are. One key point of the Agile is don't minimize any issue that you found. Doesn't matter how simple it looks like, because probably it's hiding something bigger. Something else, do something with the issue. SAFe also provides you tools to just don't put in there in a database and ignore it from years or from a lot of time. Solve it, try to make something with it, not just delay or discard your issue. Also, one route from all the projects need to learn, gather data. Every finding that you have is good or is bad, document it, gather. Try to find why appears, why don't appears. And then also enter the other principles of Agile. Divide your tasks within your team in a way that you can handle better in sprints or short periods of time. And one point that a lot of people make a mistake when we work with Agile or with SAFe, use Scrum as it is. It's a reporting meeting, not a solve meeting. Because in many examples that I can show or say, people use the Scrum meeting to make like a team meeting. And instead of taking 20 minutes, 15 minutes on the meeting, they take 2 hours, 3 hours. Then you go out of the room and all the developments are saying, we already lost 2 hours and we still need to deliver this. The Scrum Master will call us tomorrow very early because we didn't finish. And one interesting point is that a lot of people think that this is because of the SAFe implementation of Scrum doesn't work. Let's work in the old way because it's faster. When clearly the issue is that team is not handling the tool correctly in order to make it work for them. So with this principle that I have here, I ask the question to the audience again. Now that we know how SAFe can make better things, do you think that will help in the issue that I was talking about the car? Will give me some hints or better ways to perform it? let me put it another way. Do you think that if I implement SAFe before in that project, that clearly I said it doesn't have it, it will be faster to find the issue?
In the chat, we have a nope. And I also think that not necessarily.
Yes, not at all, because in some cases, as you mentioned before, Francisco, if you have the tool but we are not using the tool properly, maybe it won't be useful for us.
That's correct.
It
But
comes
there is-
back to what you said earlier, Francisco. It's about leadership, not about the method. So
Yeah, completely agree, Alan. But there is one important point hiding here, right? There is a way that this could help to find the issue if it was implemented before. You have a lot of information on data of what you already test, and where portions of your project you don't need to focus in because you know that it's working. So instead of giving you the solution faster, probably gives you better ideas or gather the data enough to see where you can focus on. Again, this is very dependent on how you implement the tool and how you use it. But clearly, there is an advantage to use it, just in case that you are using properly. Okay, let me move forward. So some considerations that you need to take when you start working with SAFe, because a lot of people just receive the instruction, let's work with SAFe, let's jump in, let's make it. Well, first of all, we need to learn that implementation of SAFe will take time and effort. Don't consider this going to be simple or quick task because you already trained it and you already have the tool. You still need to learn how the tool will be used in your advantage. Let's put an example, right? If you all the time use some oven to make cooking, you are very master on the oven. But then if you change to another kind of technology, I don't know, like making dinner with the microwave, you need to learn back again because it's a different tool, right? Yeah, probably it's better or it's faster. Sorry for just simple example. But let's put something more in automotive, right? If you are driving a big truck and then change to a Mustang, it won't be as easy as you just jump in and it's ready, right? Probably the next time that you drive in, you push the gas on, and maybe you will have an accident, something like that, right? You need to have a learning curve, and we need to understand what that learning curve is not something that we need to evade. We need to make it help in our favor. Also, we need to be ready to debate and discuss about prior times versus agile times. This is also a very common point that you will find when you start working with SAFe. A lot of people will say, well, in the prior times, this is better. We already know how to do this. Why do we need to change? This new technology doesn't work for us. I'm rather accomplished to work with the previous. We need to be very clear that we need to fight the discussions alongside. And most important recommendation, we need to gather evidence of almost everything. And also very important that happens in a bunch of big technology companies that we work on. We need to be sure to understand what the data means, not just gather data by gathering. Gather data, put it in an Excel file or in Word documents and save it in a database doesn't work for anything. We need to understand what the data means. What is it showing to us? Because probably it's showing some symptoms about where our issues is and how can SAFe help us. Okay, what are the SAFe mechanisms for data collection? Well, SAFe has a lot of tools for using depending on the tool that you have. One and the biggest, more important, is your Scrum meetings. If you use your Scrum meeting faster, you start gathering data about what your team is working, how your team is making progress day by day, and then you start fighting your first issue. How can I improve the productivity of my team? And improve productivity means that how you divide your task into your team, not just increase the hours that they work by day. It's a very good point also that mentioned in the chat that you need the context of the data. It's what I am explaining for, right? It's not just gathering the data because you need to have it. You need to understand where the data come. If you came after a validation and told me we found 25 issues and just say that, it sounds terrible. But if you analyze the data and determine that the 25 issues is because of the same component is failing, then clearly you have one issue causing 25 different symptoms. It's different. We need to digest the information. Okay, so also, what good point? SAFe meets reality at team level. When I started developing with SAFe a couple of months ago, obviously I faced all these questions and all these problems, right? I was working with SAFe more time, but not with my team. So how I make my team make SAFe work for us and not we work for SAFe? Well, first example that I have is we are in a validation, running a validation. I make a predictable with all the data that I have before, with some of tools that I learned in the exceptional engineering experience from Julia and Alan that you can ask for that training. And I decided that I could find 4 issues in this validation. So my team didn't find anything. So I gathered the data, I gather my team, and I make an inspection in the validation. So I found some issues in the process. Some of my developers tested erroneously, but reported as passed some of these test cases because they want to evade negative feedback from myself and from other bosses. Also, some of the test cases are written in a way that is bug-free defect. So basically, they just test the positive portion and not the negative one. And also, they reported some of them as a test complaint instead of a failure. This means that they say the test case is wrong. This is not an issue. So what SAFe helped me in this case? Well, I used some of the metrics from SAFe that gather the data from your books, your process daily, and I create a bunch of checklists to review that, okay, are you understanding what you are implementing? Are you understanding what you are going to test? And I included in the reviews, sorry, for my whole team. Specifically in my team, we use Jira as a control management tool, change management tool. And I noticed that a lot of my team members understand how to use the tool, but never understand what is the content inside that they need to develop. So I created some checklists to help them to understand first the Jira ticket and then transform it into a real software. Also, I create a daily life defect list because I noticed that day by day my team is reporting me instead of regular 7 hours of working, 5, 4.5, and I start tracking the time with some checklists, and I noticed that is because they are helping other people, they are taking too many meetings, and they start gathering this information and help them to clean up these distractions. I created this daily life defect list because some of them didn't consider that a coffee call with someone is going to delay them, but then they notice it, and more in these pandemic times, that a 1 hour coffee talk when you are in the office waiting for an equipment in a laboratory, it's probably very damaging, not done before. And also with my coworkers, when I explain how SAFe works and how we can use SAFe for everyone, we put a tracking list of something called technical debt that SAFe explains very well how it is. And also with my experience with the exceptional engineering, I use it. Basically, everything that you cannot finish in a sprint, you track it in the backlog like a technical debt. And then you will never forget that you have there because you increase the priority of those tasks for the next sprint. This is explained very well inside SAFe because SAFe told you, okay, everything that you found, please put a ticket or whatever that you have, like tool for controlling, and then review it later when you have the chance to review it further. In these ways, we are really finding a lot of troubles that we can save. And I can clearly and proudly say that my team negotiated 2 times the movement of the release, because we told to the managers of the project, hey, we found a lot of stuff. We haven't found a lot of issues. You need to decide right now. We fix them and delay your release, and we will get them in the software as known issues. And you need to explain to the customer when it's going to fail. What is the powerful message behind this? With all the data that I gathered, obviously the project management say, yes, let's delay it. It was a short negotiation. It doesn't require to take more time. And I have a bunch of other examples if I can say about this, but probably if you like it, you can come to me later and I can help you more deeply how I gather and how I created a lot of stuff in order to gather this data. Okay, so
We do have some questions in the chat.
oh, I didn't see those. Let me take a look before. Okay, what are the safe mechanisms for data collection and what is the key data available? Okay, basically, safe mechanism for data collection is, like I said before, your Scrum meeting is one. You have also change control boards. That is an important piece of the safe. One of the majors on Agile also, it's something called the plan, design, develop, test, exploit, review. That safe summarized in 4 steps instead of the 7 that I do, right? That is plan, do, check, adjust. What it means that, first of all, you need to plan what you are going to do. This is your first measurement tool. You have a very detailed plan of what you are doing, what you're performing. And then if this is your first data and your first measurement of collection, right? How deviated are you from your plan? There is a bunch of tools that you can use to measure that. Whatever that you want to use, it's good. The important piece is that you understand where you stand and what you promise, and how far are you from the promise. Because one of the first questions from management teams is going to be, how will you recover this time? Give me a proposal to recover this time. There is a bunch of tools. There is one that David Tuma also shows and explains in the exceptional engineering. It's the dashboard. It's very useful. You can use Microsoft Project. You can use an Excel book, whatever that you want to do. Jira, for example, has another tool called Big Picture that where you can compare. There is a sprint measurement inside of Jira and other Agile tools that can help you which content you promise and which content you are delivering. In the do, also, there's a bunch of tools, right? You have to have prepared for having code reviews, coding checklist, code verification, that is not the same, code validation. All of this is giving you data. And what is important from us as a project software leader is to identify what this data help on. For example, and I make this an open question for everyone. If you are validating one feature that is affecting 20 lines of code, your team has only validating by 1 day, and they already found 7 issues in these 20 lines of code. Will you continue with the validation, or you prefer to stop and review back? This is an open question from everyone.
I think it's probably best to take a step back.
Yep, probably the best is to step back, because, come on, 20 lines of code and then really 7 issues? I think it's important to see that probably something is not good there, right? But guess what? A lot of people have this data and just say, okay, but if I retrieve back, then I will not deliver to my manager tomorrow. Okay, let's continue, document everything, and tomorrow we will explain how bad we are. And then we create another loop of 20 days more of developing and helping this. Instead of just taking the leadership and the control of your project and say, okay, manager, I found all of this. I think the best is to recap, regroup again, and redo this thing. Because it's going to be safer, it's going to give you a better quality product, and product is going to be cheaper. Okay. I don't know if that answered the first question about some examples about the safe mechanisms of the data collection. I would like to know in the chat, or I think Bill is the one that made the question. And another interesting story, yes, is another question, right? How were they found the issues? Where were they? What activities created this issue? This is also something very important when you are tracking. In Agile, it shows you a lot of tools that you can gather in a story, not a technical point, right? Agile always works with the stories, the story points. And the reason behind that is that you need to understand the story of one issue and how it was found in order that you cannot evade all the possible root causes that this issue has. For example, let's go back to my story. This is the car that the car doesn't open. There is a bunch of things to learn about why the car is not opening, right? And what we do usually as engineers, we just think immediately, let's go and review the code, let's go and review requirements, let's go and review the testing. But I give you a very good clue about how we solved this in the end. What is different in a car expo show that is not happening in a regular environmental testing? What do you have in mind that it's different? Just imagine the scenario to put more clear the question. I always test this software, sit in my desk with my computer, one spectrum analyzer, some tools to measure the radiation of my key, and I'm measuring them alone. And then we have a car expo show, whether it's full of press people, with cameras, with a lot of other cars of 20 meters or less than 20 meters, 10,000 people around, a lot of Wi-Fi networks in the cell phone. It's something else that could affect it that I never prevent to. What do you think? What else could happen? I don't want you to give me the solution of the issue because I know how I solve it, but okay, well, maybe there is no options about that. I can just say it very quickly. There is a lot of interference. That doesn't happen to be in my environmental because my environmental is controlled. This came back to one of the points on the chat as well. It's part of the context, right? My key was never designed as working in an environmental like this. And I need to consider this like a potential root cause because it's something that I was never prepared to think of. That's why it's important to know all the context on when it happens your issues as well and document it very properly because we are very focusing on being only in the technical side. Just make it the technical, just work in the technical and don't take a consideration on around. I don't know if this give a very clear idea to the questions that I have in chat.
I think we can assume that that's probably fine. Go ahead and proceed.
Okay, yeah, we're really near to finish. So let's go back a little bit to the original story now that we know a little bit more about SAFe and about the discussion. The original story is talking about the manager being angry because everybody is saying that they implemented SAFe and they cannot resolve these issues because they are doing SAFe. But we have from the other side the technical people saying that my manager doesn't like SAFe and my manager is just minimizing my work. In the end, what do you think is the real issue between them?
They're not on the same page.
I think they
Exactly.
don't have the same vision of what needs to be done.
They don't have the same vision. They don't know what they need to be done. They are not in the same page. Basically, they don't have very good communication. Both sides are partially they're right, but both sides needs to understand how to make those parts work together. If you want to learn more about this story, because it's a very interesting story, it's online. It's an article from Alan, by the way, that is in the European Business Insider online. And yeah, very good point in the chat. Good leadership is good communication. So basically, both sides don't have good leadership, right? Neither the technical, neither the management. I don't know if you want to add something from this experience, Alan, as you live that.
Sure. Oh, here we go. You know, what the article is called is the anti-agile rebellion, which I just have seen in a few organizations where the executives start to get very frustrated with the answer because agile, and they're trying to answer some very simple questions. When will it be done? Why do we have these defects? Things like that. And there's a lot of good parts in agile, which is not a methodology, it's a framework. There's a lot of good things in it. There's a lot of good things in waterfall that Fred Brooks originally proposed, or rapid prototyping, or SAFe, or Scrum. There's good stuff. It all comes back to leadership and taking ownership. So it is a good article, I think. And Francisco, you did a great job. Bring us home.
Okay, thank you. And then just to conclude this, then what it's all about? SAFe is a very powerful tool, a very good framework, but it will not solve something that is very basic that we need to solve as a company, as a team, as a developer, before we start implementing SAFe clearly, right? And what is it? Well, roots of engineering. What is our obligations of engineering to do? High bar to clear. Also, I make some credit from the exceptional engineering, from the dialogue planning for quality. That is, first, we need to focus on the high value to the customer. At the end, we are producing something to the customer, right? And it's something very difficult for us to understand because we need to align also with some people from sales, some people that are managing the customer. Second, focus on quality. We always need to be focused on the quality that we are delivering in our product. I prefer to deliver less content, but with high quality, that deliver 100% of the requirements that they ask me, and everything with a lot of failures, because I need to fulfill the date. That's something that is not part of the agile, but we need to change our mindset, and it's clearly one big problem. Also, something very important doesn't happen a lot. Turn every rock, move everything in your project, and find every kind of way to make a speed improvement ideas. If you have a bunch of meetings daily, find a way how to make more efficient those meetings. If you don't need those meetings, don't clean those meetings. If everyone is reporting my email and take 20 minutes and write a right email, well, report it in a call or in a chat. Find another ways to do it. There's a lot of ways of improvement, and Agile helps you, giving you some of them. SAFe also gives you some tricks. And very important thing from SAFe, when you join SAFe like a certified member of a Scrum Master, PO, PM, or whatever role you have, there is a community where you can go and ask, I have this problem. What do you think guys can help me? And there is a bunch of guys in there with 25 years experience in engineering, that being a lot of certification from SAFe 1.0 to SAFe 5.0. And then probably they will help you and give you more ideas that you don't have in mind. 2 points that are very important for me. Make a commitment that you can keep or beat. Never keep a commitment that is impossible. This is a key player in all the projects that we need to work in, because we usually often offer dates that we cannot fulfill because we don't want to say no. And also it's very important because it's correlated to the point number 5. We need to use data to drive the project. If you have a lot of data, and with that data, you can negotiate the commitment that you have, it's easier that you're going to win over a discussion or a negotiation, right? It's not as simple as came and I will not give you the date. Because immediately when you say, I will not fulfill your date, the manager will answer, why not? What is your proposal? No, I cannot answer you. Give me another 3 days and I can give you the date. But if you came and say, I cannot fulfill this date because I have a lot of failures in my testing, I need to document them all. Probably I don't need to solve it, but at least I need to have everything. Okay, thank you, Jeff. I see your message. So basically, and major message for this is SAFe is very good. It's a pretty good framework, but you need to learn that also you need to fix some things on your roots of engineering before SAFe will help you. And then you can use the tool on your favor. You are the owner of your project. You are the owner of your knowledge. So let's go ahead and make the tool work for you. And I want to say thank you for everyone for hearing this presentation. I hope you find something interesting and help you grow.